Hi there, and welcome to Beyond Threats podcast by Bleckmann. My name is Eric Steenberg. I'm your host for today, and thank you very much for joining us. In each episode, we take a deep dive in the technology, in innovation, and everything that it takes to stay relevant in the sector of supply chain logistics and fulfillment. And today we are particularly exciting because we're going to talk about the innovation, where we in other podcasts may take a deep dive in software, in the people behind the processes. Now we're going to look at the actual innovation. I'm joined today by Kevin Paindeville, Bleckmann's very own Director of Innovations and Warehouse Solutions.
Thanks to having me, Eric. Nice to be here.
And a very special guest, Eric Ebbers, Senior Sales Manager at Kardex.
Yes, hello. Thank you for the invite. Thrilled to be here at Bleckmann.
Kevin, today we will be covering the topic of innovation in logistics, specifically automation. Can you explain to the audience and me what it really means, automation in logistics, and maybe give us a brief introduction of yourself?
Sure. As you mentioned, my name is Kevin, working for Bleckmann since 4 years now, responsible for innovation and warehouse solution design. When you look at automation, basically, to make it very simple, we are speaking about machine able to replace manual work. If you look into the four walls of the warehouse, it can go from moving product from A to B on pallets or something else. It can be the picking, can be the packing, to adjust the carton to the content of the order. There are various ways to speak about automation within the warehouses.
Yeah. And we are excited to have representation of Kardex in the today's podcast as well. Eric, can you please introduce yourself and give a brief overview of what AutoStore means for a company like Bleckmann?
Yes, of course. My name is Eric Ebbers. I am a Senior Sales Manager at Kardex, enabling customers' growth by finding the best automation solution in order to help them with their business. I have a lifetime experience in intralogistics. Intralogistics is a word of all the flows, material flow, information flows under one roof, as Kevin already told within the four walls.
Yeah.
And have more than 25 years experience. Started with the material handling equipment and later on shift to the goods-to-person systems, what we can also see at Bleckmann. AutoStore is belongs to the goods-to-person systems. It is a so-called cube storage system, an ASRS, automatic storage and retrieval system.
Yes.
And maybe it's good to first explain what AutoStore is, because I noticed that some people think AutoStore is a store where you can buy cars. That's not the thing. AutoStore is a storage grid where there is a lot of stacks with totes.
Yeah.
And
a tote being a large bucket or container.
A large container.
Yeah.
And on top of this grid, there are robots driving, transporting the totes to the pick stations, where the operator is standing and pulls out the correct SKU.
Right. So that means that the product is brought to the person processing the order.
Correct.
And they don't have to go into the warehouse and retrieve the product.
Exactly.
Okay.
Exactly.
Okay.
Just keep the walking distance.
Yeah, that's I think the main advantage, and that's also the shift what we see in companies changing from a manual operation to an automatic operation, that the operator does not need to walk on a daily business for kilometers. The goods are brought to the person, to the operator.
Okay.
Which saves time.
Absolutely. And can you guys explain to me why automation has taken such a huge flight and has become a critical component of logistics?
Well, you have a couple of elements who play. You have, first off, the shortage of labor on the market. It's more and more difficult to find people, especially if we grow and you need to cope with a very much larger volume, and you need to have a lot of people. It's not that easy in some region where we are located. And so automation played their role because you are able to also automate and free up capacity, because the people doing the tasks that will be automated by the machine, by the AutoStore in that way, could be allocated to tasks that are more added, that bring more added value by a human.
Yeah. Okay, that makes sense. Yes.
Yeah, and I think that especially 3PLers, they're really interested in flexible systems which are scalable, because you never know what happens tomorrow, and you want to adapt your system to the new business demands.
Yeah, especially at a company like Bleckmann, fashion and lifestyle, very seasonal, high peaks, low. Yeah, okay, understood. And Eric, when we look at AutoStore, when we look at Kardex, what are the specific systems and technologies that you offer companies like us, and how do you set yourself apart from your competitors?
Yeah, AutoStore is a goods-to-person system which has grown very rapidly.
Yes.
Now there is already 1,400 installations sold worldwide. As mentioned before, it's very flexible, scalable. The system consists of a couple of components which you can put together. I will say it's like playing with Lego. You're never done. You can always change the system by adding things to the AutoStore, for example. That's also what Bleckmann has done. Started last year with only a small AutoStore to start with 24,000 totes, 24 robots, a couple of pigboards, but they have grown so huge that now we have already extended the AutoStore to 100,000 totes and 70 robots during operation. So that is, I think, a very important point for a customer, that there is no end of the line, that they can always continue growing and not investing money in tomorrow, but in today.
Yeah. And to add on that, sorry to interrupt you, Rick, but to add on that, two more differentiators from AutoStore: the scalability, as you mentioned. We start small and then you increase, and we can increase as we want. Second, the storage density of the system is one of the highest on the market. So on a square meter, you can store a lot of units compared to a manual or other type of automation.
Well, I've been to the setup in Robedonk in Belgium, and not only for a customer, it's obvious that you're never done. It's scalable, you're flexible, but also as a BD manager, I love to show that to customers, because it's clear to anybody who sees it that it's smart, it's efficient, and it's flexible. So regardless of the specific needs of my customer, I can always show them the AutoStore. So that's where, for me, the added value comes from.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
When you compare it with a conventional warehouse, you take out all the air which are in the aisles, because you put the totes in the grid in stacks. You are able to quadruple the space of your warehouse, and that's fantastic.
In the same area.
In the same area, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So that says a lot about how your automation, how your solution increases the operational capacity, but how does it also influence better the accuracy in the operation?
The robots are bringing the tote to the operator. So we already have the correct tote in front of the operator. If this tote consists of more than one storage location, then you can see on your screen in which compartment you need to pick how many items. You can also have a put-to-light system, of a pick-to-light system with a laser pointer. And what also is a very nice innovation from Kardex is the intuitive picking assistant. That's an innovation which projects all the information on your workstation, on your desk. So by this projection, your desk turns into a huge iPad, which you can tap to confirm all the instructions. So like when driving a car, when you see the projection in your
heads-up
display,
correct,
you see it around the SKUs that you need to pick. And if you go with your hand into the wrong compartment, then your whole desk turns red. And if you do it right, then everything is green. So that's also something which is very interesting. To have a clean desk, you don't need a terminal, keyboard, mouse, even a scanner is not necessary anymore, because the intuitive picking assistant can scan automatically the SKU which you take out.
So that sounds to be, as my American friends would say, foolproof and foolproof.
Absolutely.
It makes it very hard to make a mistake.
Absolutely.
Well,
Yeah.
That sounds very good. Kevin, we also have a lot of smaller and medium-sized customers. Automation sounds rather expensive. Is that indeed the case for our customers, or is it much more an opportunity to have it as a good entry point?
So automation is expensive. That's true. It costs money, but it doesn't mean that there is no payback. What we experienced, what we did at Bleckmann, so we built a pre-automated warehouse. So the AutoStore was there before that we had the first customer to put in it, and then we combine different customer into it so that we can guarantee that we have sufficient efficiency, and then every customer, or at least every customer that fit in the boundaries on the business case can fit into the AutoStore. So we don't especially build one solution for a customer that exists. We have some customer where we can afford that, but some of the customer also, taking into account the contract length within the 3PL world, it's important to have a solution that is flexible, and if for a certain reason a customer left, we're able to replace it by another one.
Right. And when we then try and have a sneak peek over the horizon, what do you guys think are the developments will be? What do you expect in trends or in new capabilities?
Well, we start with the AutoStore. Of course, it's not only the AutoStore. It's Kardex provided a solution with we have also a carton erector, and we have the packing machine. We have the full Monty, I will say. We can come with things on the top. We can come with a cobot on a pick station doing the picking, because when we present a tote, either it's one tote with one SKU or with dividers, we can also guide the cobot to pick the right item and to put it in the right in the right carton for the order. So that could be one an extra enhancement.
And of course, just for me, because our audience is more than intelligent, but what's the difference between a cobot and a robot?
A robot is what you will see in a very in a big factory. It's very efficient, and you see on a manufacturing lane. It's very precise, very rapid. But you have a lot of fencing around, or a lot of safety, because if you go closer, you got it hurts. To not say anything else. A cobot is a collaborative robot, meaning that the speed is not that high than a real robot. They also have some safety around with sensors, but it will slow down if you approach it. So you need to let it work so that you enjoy the full speed of the cobot. But if you need to go nearby, he will slow down to the moment you touch it, and then he stop because he don't want to hurt you. So collaborative robot means that it's a robot, but it can be put in the same area than other human.
Right. And a robot is autonomous, disregarding everything around it, executioner of repetitive tasks.
A robot in manufacturing is not autonomous because it's commanded by a system, but it's doing always the same task. Here we are speaking about a cobot coupled with vision technology, because it needs to know where I need to pick, why I need to pick, how I need to position it, my gripper, and all those stuff. So it's a combination of elements.
Thanks for explaining that.
And in that case, the people can reallocate it in the warehouse for more human added value, which I think is very important. And looking at the cost, there was also the question about automation and cost. This is what in my experience, often the second step for a company, so that they can make a new business case. First is the automation, the beating heart, the AutoStore with everything around it. And then the next step could be a cobot, or could be an AMR instead of a conveyor system, because a 3PLer always wants to have full flexibility, and a conveyor system goes always from A to B. But an AMR can drive through the whole warehouse to a new location. Correct.
And an AMR is another 3-letter abbreviation, and that stands for?
Autonomous Mobile Robot.
Gentlemen, thank you very much for your insights. I think a very interesting conversation, and good to have your input and your outlook for the future. And who knows, hopefully we see each other soon at this very table. But before we conclude, Eric, if our audience has any questions about Kardex, AutoStore, and all the services and solutions that you offer, how can they reach out to you?
Oh, that's very easy. You can go to kardex.com or find me on the LinkedIn, and I'm happy to help you.
Thank you for that. Well, Kevin, same question for you, of course.
Yeah, LinkedIn, always a good way to reach out. Otherwise, people can look on the Bleckmann.com website, where we post also some interesting use case we've made.
Yeah, and as much as we would love to continue this discussion, unfortunately our time is up. I would like to thank you very much for joining our discussion. Again, I thought a very knowledgeable discussion, and we have learned a lot. I would like to invite you to stay tuned and on the lookout for our next podcast, and I'll see you there. Thank you.